Hi, I'm Dave Powell from Integrity Surveying and practicing what I'm preaching, or in other words, a busman's holiday. I've just bought this house, somewhere for myself and family to live in, and I gave it a good looking over before we started. However, it was also surveyed by someone else in order to gain the mortgage. I was quite prepared for most things, but a few things were quite interesting when we started going under the surface of decorations and things. I thought I'd give you a bit of a tour over a few videos. The first one, I think we're going to look at the electrics because they're really interesting. One of the things we look at during our surveys is the electrical services. Now, we're not qualified electricians, so we're not going to give you an electrical certificate for it, but we will have a look and see what type of service we've got here, and we'll check out lamps and lights, etc. We either advise that you get a test undertaken, or we would say, yeah, it's an immediate action, depending on just what we find. So, here's one which I've got at my house here that I just bought. Now, this really is an old style fuse board with, these are cartridge fuses. Whoops, there go the lights, which just push in. And very often, people used to stick in paper clips instead of using proper fuse wire. The other ones are these, which are plug-in trip switches. Now that's the test, which I won't do at the moment because I've got a guy working upstairs. So that's an older style trip switch. Moving on from there, we have this. You'll notice two dials. Now this indicates an economy 7 or type electric service, which means you have your main electrics, and then during the night you have a cheaper rate tariff. So we look at this and we put this into the report for you. Now then, most electrics we can see, and we have a look at plugs and sockets, but there's a few things that could be surprising once you start decorating. This was quite interesting when we moved in. We knew just from the fuse board and a couple of other things that we'd need a couple of repairs doing, or part rewire. There were cupboards across here, and we didn't realise there's a two-way switch embedded into the wall, busted and broken up like that. And above the cooker there was a recirculating extractor fan, which meant it sucks out the fat into filters, but the moisture is recirculated still. However, when we took the wall cupboard off, we found this, which is a vent for an extraction fan. So, bit of a surprise hid behind there. What wasn't a surprise is what we found in the lounge. You see, we will look at, check switches and check lights just to get a general feel of how the electrics may be before we provide our advice in our report. So I'm going to show you something quite amusing in my lounge. While we can't check all the electrical fitments, we can get a general idea of how things work or don't work. So, double switch here, one switch, upstairs light, fine. This one is the downstairs light. Doesn't work. So, how do you switch the lights on in my lounge? Well, there's something wrong with the electrics here, which is pretty obvious, and we would pick this up on a survey. How do you switch the lights on in the lounge? Like that. And when you go to bed, how do you switch your lights off? Like that. Normally we don't find anything as quirky as this, but anything we can find, we will find on our survey. So something to look out for when you buy a house. It's Dave Powell, Integrity Surveying. Thanks for watching.